Hey everybody, I'm Brad Abramson from A&E. Hey there, I'm Brad Abramson from A&E Network, and I'm one of the executive producers on the new documentary series Cultureshock, which explores the iconic and fabulous moments and events that changed popular culture. The series premieres tonight at 9 o'clock on A&E. And today we are lucky enough to be joined by a few of the key people who worked on the series with us. In studio with me is Brent, Hodge, the director of Freaks and Geeks, the documentary. And joining us remotely, Matthew Galkin, one of the executive producers, and Josh Levine, who produced 2 of the episodes in the series. Thank you guys, everybody, for making time to discuss Cultureshock with us today.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Matt, you've been involved with this series since the very beginning. Tell us a little bit about how Cultureshock came to be.
So we were approached by Entertainment Weekly magazine and Timing Productions to develop an anthology documentary series that explored seminal pop culture moments over the last or so decades. And so we brought that to A&E, and we were off the pieces. You know, we're really focused on a broad spectrum of music, television, and film documentaries. Really like cover all aspects for over the last 3 decades, and we're really excited to put this on the world.
Great. Let's take a look at the trailer, and then we'll come back and talk to these producers.
Rock and roll!
None of us knew what we were doing.
What we were trying to do was some sort of alternative, and they just didn't want to air it.
Anything can happen.
Here we go.
He's the most famous man on the planet. Even in death, he doesn't get a moment's privacy.
We were the first reality family sitcom.
We just won an Emmy for being ourselves.
Television is a mirror. If you don't like what you're seeing, don't blame the mirror.
We're rolling.
Where television has gone now, it's because of Freaks and Geeks.
I don't know if you could do that special today.
You're laughing, but you're also like, holy shit.
Some of the smartest social commentary.
It transcends what you thought you knew.
All right. The first episode of Cultureshock premieres tonight at 9 o'clock. It explores the very public life and death of Michael Jackson. And that happened, as you know, 9 years ago exactly today. Everybody remembers where they were when they heard that shocking news. Matthew, tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see in tonight's episode.
Well, you know, as most people know, Michael Jackson at the time was one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star in the world, had been for decades. And the film explores the days leading up to his death, but also the weeks after his death, and his fascinating, complicated relationship with the media. You know, the media sort of made him a very hunted public figure. And then his death became almost like the biggest media circuits the world had ever seen. And the film also explores the rise of digital media. You know, this is when TMZ was really put on the map by covering and getting the scoop on the death of Michael Jackson. And so you had Goliath broadcast media entities that were just kind of dumbfounded and looking at TMZ being the sort of nimble unit that was able to break this news and completely change the way that celebrity culture and also news culture and news was covered over the next decade.
Great. You guys found some amazing footage of people reacting to the news, some of which I'd never seen before, so congrats on digging deep into the archives for that. One other question. The episode uses only audio interviews as a creative choice. It's kind of an interesting choice. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, you know, Thom, the director of the film, who's an absolutely amazingly gifted filmmaker, had this theory that, you know, seeing talking heads, especially for something like this, seeing talking head interviews might interrupt the flow and really kind of keep the viewer from being put back into those days and weeks following his death. And the proof is in the film. The film's extraordinary, and it has this amazing cumulative power that you just feel like you're transported back to 2009 and, you know, reliving these really harrowing moments. watching this news break and how emotionally devastated it was for millions and millions.
Yeah, it is a roller coaster. All right, thank you. Brent, your episode, which premieres Monday, July 16th, is about the cult TV show Freaks and Geeks, which I love and many of us love. It aired for only one season, but launched the careers of so many iconic TV and movie stars.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to do a doc on Freaks and Geeks?
Well, I think that's it. It was this question of how did this great show only last one season when all these people have gone on to such great things afterwards? So you kind of always go back to the seed of where they all started. When you realize it's a show that really never got a chance on NBC, there's a real documentary there. We needed to figure out why such a show only lasted one season.
You were able to get some amazing interviews from virtually everybody in the cast and crew, including some A-list stars, as we've mentioned. Why do you think they were so eager to participate?
Well, I think for them, it was their formative years. They grew up on this show. We're talking 15-year-old kids. You know, James Franco's 19, Seth Rogen's 16, Jason Segel's 20. Like, they're young.
Wow.
Linda Cardellini was the oldest at 24, so these are kids. And I think for them, it was formative years. They got into Hollywood, and they continue to want to talk about the show. They continue to want to make sure that people know that that's where they all came from.
One of the things I liked about the doc was how you created these sets. You could have recreated the sets from each of the iconic figures, like Jason Segel behind his drum set. Tell me about how that came, decided to do that.
Well, it was really hard because we did every interview in Los Angeles, but we had to make it look like 1979 Michigan. So there's not very many places in LA that look like that. But we just wanted to pay homage to every single character in that show. You know, Ken, Seth Rogen's characters, he's at the keg party, or like you said, Nick Annapolis, Jason's character is at the drum kit. We wanted Paul Feig to be in Sam Weir's room. So we wanted to make sure that you remember those characters in these iconic spots. So that's where we did the interviews.
And there was also some amazing footage that you guys were able to track down from behind the scenes.
Yeah, so Gabe Sachs is a writer on the show, and Judd and Paul had said, you have to get a hold of this guy. He's got some stuff from the show. And I went over to his house, and there was just this museum of archive footage, photos, and he handed me like a box of mini DVs that had those little DVs from 1999, and there was just hours of footage that no one had seen about that show. So we got access to it all.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you. Josh, you worked on the episode called The Rise of Trash TV, which premieres Monday, July 9th. Tell us, what exactly is trash TV?
Yeah, so trash TV is a term that was popularized really in the late 80s around the popularity of shows like Geraldo or Morton Downey Jr. And tabloid talk shows had been popularized with Donahue, who was really the first person to put ordinary people on television. These shows started to get more confrontational. There was a very famous fight on the Geraldo show that really led to the term trash TV.
I'm sure you watched hours and hours of trash TV when researching this documentary. What in your mind was the trashiest of all the moments you've seen?
Well, one of them was certainly the Geraldo show. He broke his nose. It's really a seminal moment in television. And of course, later, Jerry Springer, all that stuff is very fun to watch. Something happen. There was a very famous show there once where he had someone who married a horse. Show.
Nice.
Personal.
Great. Next week's episode, Monday, July 2nd, is on the groundbreaking MTV series The Osbournes. Why do the Osbournes, why are they in this series, Culture Shock?
Sure. I think the Osbournes MTV show is important for a number of reasons. I think it was the early days of reality television, and the Osbournes were really the first celebrities to open their doors and allow and to see their real lives, not presented or lost version of what they were.
Right. The episode is titled The Price of Reality. What price do you think the Osbournes paid as a family, being the pioneers of this family reality genre?
Sure. I think, you know, a lot of people considered Ozzy a Satanist, heavy metal rocker, and when cameras started rolling, people saw this loving, very different family unit, but something they could relate to. And so they rose to fame that they hadn't seen in any other part of their lives over the years. But there was a downside. Well, Kelly and Jack were teenagers at the time. You know, these are awkward moments for anyone. And that was on television. They struggled with drug addiction, Sharon Osbourne, cancer. They allowed these moments shown on television. They really didn't pull punches what they let the public see.
Do you get the sense that if they could do it all over again, would they make the same decision to do this reality show and let the cameras into their lives for 3 seasons?
I think it was a hugely draining experience for them. Really appreciate the good things that came out of it as well. And I don't know, you'd have to, but
Can't go back. Of course, fans of the Osbournes can see Jack, Ozzy, and Kelly this season on Ozzy and Jack's World Tour Wednesday nights on A&E. Joshua, Matthew, Brent, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to sit with us and give our audience some insight into this new series. And to our audience, thank you for joining us. Culture Shock premieres tonight at 9 o'clock on A&E with a great episode on Michael Jackson, and every Monday night for the next 4 weeks. And later at the end of the year, there's an episode on Chris Rock's famous HBO special, Bring the Pain, which changed the face of African-American comedy. Hope you enjoy all the Culture Shock episodes. Again, thank you. Take care.